Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys. Muzzy says, good evening from Woodall Services on the M1. Very good. I can hear the crack of fireworks going off all around me as well, so hopefully that won't interrupt us too much. How are we all doing? Hope you've had a good week. A little bit of soggy weather around here, but it's been really good for digging as well. So welcome everyone to our November show. What a brilliant time. We've got quite a lot of things to go through tonight, so I'm going to jump straight into it as well. First up, we've got a slideshow of finds. Now, in the past, I've not put people's names on them, just out of convenience. So I've given it a go, and we're going to find our way. Oh, while we're here, though, we can say hello to Carol Golds, Muzzy, of course. Sarah Jane Fraser's in the house. Hi from Stoke, she says. Damon Locke, Craig Priestley, Gil's here. Gilly from Australia. Hi. Aggie's here as well. Muzzy says waiting for his KFC. Very good, sir. Oh, man, I'd love one of them right now. And I think we had Phil actually join us. The first person to join us was Phil, but I didn't quite turn the chat on in time. No time for coffee either. Anyway, enough of the moaning. Really keen to get stuck into this show, and I want to show you all about our slideshow as well, the new format. So this is, by the way, a new format for the for Deus 2 group. It's called the Dig Show. We'll see how it goes. I think it's got some legs on it. Jim Jules says hi, hello from California. Hello, Jim, and Bobby's with us as well. Hey, Bobby. But yeah, the Dig Show. It's something that I think we would need to do at some point anyway. Because it's an inordinate amount of work to get people from the Deus 2 group alone to join the show. And that's cool. You know, we've all got things to do, but we can broaden a little bit out. And I think you guys will enjoy it for that as well. Anyway, on with the show. Been a while since I've done this. Okay, so we've got Jenny Manighetti with that Roman lunar goddess. Tommy Goddard with a ring with a zodiac, Taurus the bull. Nice. Joseph Paul. That's a really good, stunning World War I medal. Stephen Andrews, 6-pounder, British solid shot. Nice. Lee Marshall of a quarter stater, Catavaloni and Trinovantes tribes. Alan Williams of that intricate Bronze Age spear. Nice one. Rodney Graham, interesting Frederick III there. Being punched. Luda showing us, I think it's a crossbow fibula. And Mark with a wonderful coin as well. Nat Lewis. That's a nice Portuguese, I think, actually. Yeah, Alfonso V, 15th century. Guy Gordon with a wonderful wax seal there. Look at the profile on that ship. And Attila coming in with a massive Bronze Age axe. Ian Scott's hitting us with a wonderful gold ring. Look at the gold on that. Wow. And Ronnie Long coming in with a Union plate. American Civil War. Bartak's not far behind. Loads of gold there. And Dennis with a World War I or II, isn't it? German helmet, I think. Zara's got some wonderful hammered there. Short cross as well. And Marianne Sisk Irish with another Union plate there. I think this goes on a sash. Sarah Jane Fraser, short cross there, I think, isn't it? Sarah, you'll have to tell us. And Pleco John from the Mediterranean with a year's loot. Nice one. Love that, guys. Hope you like that too. Tried to put some music on while we were doing it as well, but that didn't really go down very well. It didn't work. Either way, Kostas says hi. Nice to meet you, sir. Thank you for joining us tonight. Let's make me a little bit smaller. Oh, and actually, while I'm thinking about it, I like the conversational people. For those who are new here, I like the conversations. So we've got Jim. Last time we didn't have the sound on, so I think I've made right on that now. Jim's in Edinburgh, but listen to this.
Yo! Gold! 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 Hey!
Look at that. Sorry, I paused it. Look at that. Wonderful. Get in. Nice gold dance day.
Get in!
Hi, Ernie. Thank you for joining us. Yes, thank you for that, Jim. Not here tonight, but all well. And let's get back onto these finds from earlier on. This axe interests me. From Attila. Guys, tell me what you think about this one. It looks to me it's got so much meat to it, as it were. It's quite a thick piece and very long as well. I can't help thinking that would be more, you know, like a chisel type thing. I know it's got that axe profile, but maybe for woodwork, you know, that kind of thing. Don't know. What do you think? Diaz Pedro says hi as well. Hi, Diaz. Thanks for joining us tonight. Guys, don't forget, you can follow this page and you'll get some updates. This is an interesting one as well. This is from Rodney Graham. You guys tell me what you think about this one as well. Oh, Zara says hi. Evening, Zara. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you guys can hear me okay, by the way. Please do say if you can't, because I won't know. I've got no headphones or anything on me. Yeah, but I reckon this Frederick the Third, I believe. It's like they've punched it out to go on a ring. You know, that's my kind of thoughts on that. What do you guys think? Chisel. Ernie says chisel. Yeah, Phil says the blue is interesting. Jim Bynon says, hi, Chris from New York. There's a lot of Americans in tonight, isn't there? All the British people are watching fireworks. Phil says spot on. Yeah, I think chisel, but I do reckon also that that's been punched out, that gold, because it's interesting and people like interesting things, right? Anyway, that's my philosophy on that. Let's close you down. Going to do a couple of giveaways tonight. We're going to be interviewing Andy Sabisch. Obviously, I do pre-recorded interviews to make sure we can fit it all in, bit of editing and so on. I'll be giving away a couple of these. You guys need to remind me to do that because I will forget otherwise. In addition to that, though, we've got a wonderful competition which I've got the names. In fact, let's show the names now while we're here. Let's bring them over. Here we go. So we had a wonderful competition set up by me and Luke and the gang, the Deus 2 backroom team. And it was to just upload a find from, what are we on, November? So a find from October. Just a find, doesn't have to be overly exciting. Mine was my find. I mean, I wasn't eligible, but, you know, I'm taking part. It's my gig, right? But yeah, I was out in some fields in Glastonbury, and for those who know England at all, even on the TV, you know, Glastonbury, fabulous place, and it's got full of a really, really rich history dating back to year dot as well. Anyway, I found this wonderful Tudor like hat pin, silver, you know. I mean, it wasn't like fantastic, but it was good enough, you know. And I haven't got a picture of the damn thing. And the reason I don't have a picture of it is because I set it in the boot or trunk of my car. And I was like there with my camera, and because it's only the end of it as well. And it rolled into where the catch is for my car. So like like went into the bodywork of the car, like completely, like the only person that's going to find that works in the scrapyard. Don't forget to give away those books, Chris. Doug's done his job. Doug's actually written a fabulous book of his own, and we will get onto that. He puts quite a effort into the group, some fines and things like that, and that's what it's all about, guys. Put something in, you get something out. Me and Doug just need to figure out the right way to do it, don't we, Doug? What else have we got here, guys? You might be able to help me out with this one. I thought that was a crossbow fibula, but it's got some really beautiful patination on it as well, and to have the catch on there as well is just amazing, isn't it? Yeah, really impressive. Right, okay, I think we better get stuck into our first interview now. I want to show you, what can I show you? I remember. I'm going to show you this first. So this dropped how long ago? Just watch it. So that happened this week. That's exciting. Looks very similar to what we've currently got, doesn't it? But you know, that's the way of the world. Let's see if we can get the video back up again without the sound. Turn the sound off. We can pause it. So new sound. Oh God, it's gonna make me small again. Sorry, guys. Doug Down says that's a crossbow, all right, missing its top onion, though they do come up over here. They are far more common from the Eastern Roman Empire. Very interesting. Nilo FX, I'm so sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, sir. I've had enough practice as well. Thank you so much for joining us. He says, sorry, I'm late on parade. Late on parade, yeah. Oh, you should have seen the intro. I was going to do everything. You would have loved that one. Right, so anyway, guys, so WSA 2 XL, WSA XL, WS6, and the WSA, the smaller one. So from behind us, what have we got? I haven't got one, I'm sorry to say, but these are the regular WSA cans, and you can see that they look very, very similar. I don't know why I'm pointing at the screen, you can't see it. Very, very similar, don't they, to to the new release. So it's basically going to be electronics, give you that stereo sound. Actually, interestingly, the WSA 2 XLs, have they improved? I think they have, maybe. I think they might have improved, unless we're looking at a 3D model. They may have improved this top bit, and I wonder if it'll stop falling off your head. I doubt it, but but yeah, the stereo sound I think is going to be really, really interesting. I can't wait to learn more about it. Michael Eakers, worldwide community manager for XP, wanted to come along tonight and have a little chat, but he's otherwise engaged, so he can't join us for that one, but he sends his apologies. He'd have loved to come because I'm sure he can add a lot more to this. I do like the idea though of having stereo headphones. I don't know if you'd get like iron in one ear and then non-ferrous in the other. Don't quite know how that works. But maybe it gives you that, it gives you a more 3D centric sound. That's a very interesting one. So guys, you let me know what you think about it. Okie doke. What else have we got from this video? Yeah, it does look a little bit like the band has been changed. Ooh. So it doesn't look like you can... It's not just a firmware upgrade and you can just use these in stereo then. So if you want to use this new stereo process, I think we're going to have to learn a little bit more about it. But yeah, it's exciting. End of December, version 4 update comes out. So that'll be interesting. Yeah. Okay, so I want to show you this. Shame they won't work with version 2. Nilo, I'm going to call you Nilo. Deus Dancers, evening all. I would be interested to know how much more detail the stereo adds to the detecting experience. Yeah, me too. I'm really buoyant about the whole thing. I don't think we're looking at I genuinely don't think it's going to be like something like this, you know, like you see with other brands, and it's like, it's Christmas time, buy loads of stuff. I don't think it's going to be quite like that. But I do think that we're going to have to learn a little bit more about these. We'll see if we can get a pair. We'll see if we can get Michael actually onto the show to show us. Yeah, I don't expect me to get hold of anything anytime soon, but see if we can get Michael to sort of come along and show us a little bit about, or talk a little bit more about how they work and what we might be able to get out of it. I think that would be a really good thing. Guys, let me know if you want me to set that up, and we'll sort that out. Anyway, Silversmithing. So Tim Chipkin. He was on our previous show. Really, really nice guy. Let's just make our camera just a bit bigger. Tim Chipkin, really nice guy, expert silversmith. In my opinion, I've done a few things myself with metal, and yeah, I think it's really good. Anyway, so we've got this buckle. This is like the task I set. Let's see if we can make that work. So this is what I would call, sorry, it's in and out of focus because I set my camera up incorrectly. But yeah, this is what I would deem as being a 17th century buckle. It's got shell embellishments on it. So I'm really interested in this one. And this was found on a site in Wales where we know the people who would have owned this, or we think, sorry. In the archaeological word, we'd say probably rather than possibly, but not definitely. Yeah, this one came from a family which went to Virginia in one of the first, not the first fleets, but in the first like 3 or 4 waves of ships for settlers going over to the States. So I set Tim the challenge, and Tim definitely produced. Ernie says he's happy to beta test them for XP. And Doug says, they look very comfortable. Perhaps Father Christmas will bring me a set. I think if Father Christmas brings you a set, I would be very surprised, but pleasantly surprised. Let's go on with Tim now, okay? I think you're going to enjoy this. There's loads of stuff to cover off, so I better get cracking.
Yad Silversmith presenting a short video on how to create a sterling silver colonial buckle.
I'll get started and show you some of the items that I use for sand casting, including the flask, the sand, and torches and items like.
First off, I've got a flask here. It's 2 pieces, front and back. It's called the cope and the drag. I've got a heavy-duty ruler right here for scraping sand, and I've also got a small little poking tool to draw some air vents here in a moment. Over here I've got some long-handled needle nose pliers. This is for picking up the crucible when it's hot, when I'm pouring. This is a scrap piece of sterling silver, which I will be using to pour the buckle. Over here I've got my oxygen acetylene setup. I believe it's a B tank and a 60. I could be wrong on that. You got to set these things appropriately depending on which torch tip you use. Got a quench bucket over here, which I'll have to fill up with some water as well. This is the colonial buckle I will be pouring today. Get started with the process. I'll take the flat side that does not have pins. Start loading some sand in there. I'll pack it in pretty good. Once it's all packed in there, we'll scrape it. Alright. Now there's a bit of concave on this buckle, so I've got to do a little trick here and build a mound. That way, when I sit the buckle in here, it will adhere to the concave and settle in properly. I've also got to figure out where I want to pour the silver in from, which is probably, most likely, going to be sideways. So I'll actually take this and rotate that way a bit. I'll place this on here. I'll gently push down, knowing that I've got a break there. If this buckle was solid, I probably wouldn't worry about it as much. Because we don't want to break this beauty. I'll work some of the sand around to these voids underneath here. You got to fill in these voids, or else you'll end up having extra silver to clean. Once you go around, you pack the voids up underneath. A couple things you can do here. Brush the top off. And you'll actually want to knock this out one time. That cleans any extra sand that's on the edges. I'm going to place it back exactly where it was after. Small application of baby powder, which is going to be used to break the mold. You don't want the sand to stick, so drop that back in there. It sits right back into place, essentially. We grab the drag, pop the drag on, coat, drag, and sprinkle a light layer of sand on here to begin with. I'll gently pack it in there on top of the buckle. Pack more sand in until we're full. Scrape it with the ruler once again. Pop it open. This is one side. This is the negative side. This is the positive side because the buckle is still there. Next, I've got to go ahead and make a little trail for the silver to come in. So I'm going to start up here and work my way down towards that little designed scalloped area. I don't really want to pour it in there, but I'm going to because this buckle does not leave me much option to pour, being that it is so thin. So I'm going to scrape up here all the way right to the edge of the scallop design on the buckle. Excuse me. I'm going to pat this sand in combination with blowing it out, because you don't want it to come down with your silver. I'm going to try to replicate that tunnel again here. Scrape, scrape, scrape up to that little scallop design. You go a little further on the back because it helps the silver flow, and you're not going to hurt the design. The design is on the other side, on the positive side. Now, importantly, I've got to draw some air vents in the sand here. Otherwise, the silver may not flow correctly. You could have problems. So I like to get, at most corners, an air vent, and on the sides. We hope that's enough. So we've got these two. Silver's coming from the top. Should have enough room for it. Next, we're going to close this up. Some clamps on it. And place it in here. All right. My heat source is an oxygen acetylene setup. Turn these on. Adjust those to 5 on the acetylene, 10 on the oxygen. Looks good. Now we'll get to the fun stuff. Hopefully I've got enough gas. I've got the good glow, red, and nothing sticks to the sides when you swirl it. Down the hatch. Hopefully we have success. Let's see what's going on here. I think we're going to have a buckle. My next order of business will be to knock off all these little pieces and the sprue with my jeweler's saw. Some of these can just be removed by bending them. Perfect. Next up, I'll get the sharp edges filed off. Whatever needs to be removed. This is my Fordham hand tool. It's kind of like a Dremel, but better. This is going to be cleaning up the exterior. That's pretty good for starters anyway. You can see right away it starts getting rid of some of that rough texture from the sand. And then on to the polishing machine at this point. Yeah, aside from a quick wipe of the jewelry cloth, there you have it, folks. Got a colonial shoe buckle. Hope you enjoyed watching the video. Hope you learned something. Hope you can apply it somewhere in your treasure life. Thank you for watching.
Wow, I loved that. That was fantastic. Really enjoyed that. And again, this was the task we set Tim. Tim happened to have one of these. Not found all that often as well, so really exciting. In fact, actually, let's put mine in the cabinet a sec. I'll just show you something. Hang on, turn that on. See that? Yeah. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Ernie says it's a bucket lister for him. Damon says, join. Hi, Damon. I saw your message earlier on, actually, while this was going. So welcome. Okay, we've got, if you can't really spot it, we've got 12 entries in the draw. Let's go and roll for one now. So it works a little bit like this. I'm going to draw 2. And then for each person, we'll see what they won. Sorry for asking, you send giveaways to England. We send giveaways everywhere, all over the world. Apart from maybe the Democratic or non-democratic Republic of Congo and a couple of other dodgy places. Right, let me just quickly get my thing in check. So we've got to keep on task here. Take just a second. Just got to pick one. Okay, so stopping the entries, selecting our first winner now. Ernie Holding. Well done, Ernie. Come and get your prize. See what he's got. Dick sticker for Ernie. Gil Dunst. See what you got. Be a hat. Oh, a dick towel. Wonderful. One of these. No, that way around. These are really good. I was skeptical to start with. Luke was a believer. He's always a believer. He said, no, this is good. Okay, and as we've got that, let's talk about our other event that we did. So guys, hearts in chat or what have you. And he's very happy. Yeah, so we had a competition for October. The idea was quite simple. It was just post up a find from October. Didn't really matter what it was. We had a really great result. 4,000 people saw that. And in fact, actually, at the very beginning, for those of us who've been from the start of this particular stream, the people who had put those posts up on the Dares 2 group must have given us in excess of 2 million views worldwide. So it's an awful lot of people would have seen our stuff as a result for that. So that's really great. Guys, give yourselves a round of applause for that, definitely. I would go through some of these entries. There's quite a lot of them. I really like this one from Ops Horton. Really, really great piece, like a talk kind of piece. In fact, I guess that is actually. There's an arm ring, pardon me. Yeah, I suppose if it was a talk, it must be for a talk for a squirrel. All right. Oh, the fireworks have started. Hang on, there's something coming through. Oh. It's that time again.
Hey guys, I have another tip for you, and this tip is the most important tip I know, and it's easy to understand but hard to master. What could it be? Yes, be happy, be patient, be grateful. I know. We have some days, it's cold, it's raining, me. We have just trash in our pocket and nothing from value, but fuck off. If we have the trash in the pocket, the nature doesn't have it. So we clean up the nature, it's a good thing. And if you collect enough trash, then karma will say, hey, in return I will give you something back. It's called Buddelkarma, like digging karma in German. So yeah, stay positive. There are these days, but better days will come. So be happy, be proud, enjoy your hobby, coil to the soil. See ya on the next tip.
Absolutely, my friend. Coil to the soil. Thank you so much. That's Stefan's tip for November. Be positive, be happy, and you'll get lucky. You'd be surprised, wouldn't you? People in chat here, when you're out detecting on the beach and whatnot, do you find that you seem to do a little bit better when you're more attentive because you're really keen? That's certainly my impression anyway. Okay, where are we at? Oh yes, of course. We just need to switch to a different screen. Escape. Yeah, so loads and loads of people put their finds through. Fantastic, thank you. And this is to win a Dig t-shirt and a DS2 cap, 2 of them. So there's going to be 2 times I'm going to roll this, just like before. So I want to say good luck to everyone. I'm going to shuffle. We got any music we can play? Who's got it? Tommy Goddard. Tommy with the ring, I think. That was the ring, the tourist ring. That was such a piece. So well done, Tommy. And again, what have we got? Here we go. Roy! Now, Roy, I've just sent something to you. Well done. Well done, everyone. Okay, so I can see we've still got the winner selected bit there, so I just need to clear that off so that we don't accidentally include people in things that they shouldn't do. So reset the draw. So I've reset the draw. Okay. Who have we got? We've got Adam. Adam from London. Hopefully he's unfortunately his metal detector got stolen from his car, so commiserations there. But a crowdfunder was set up actually, and I think that's gone quite a long way to helping him get a new detector. So really, really great dig vibes, isn't it? I love that sort of thing. So Adam, thanks so much for coming along tonight. It's awesome. Adam's got his own show as well with the UK History Finders. I went on a dig with them the other day, actually. It was a really, really good dig. That was the Glastonbury dig I was talking about with the silver hat pin that was, and will someday be somebody else's probably. Okay, right. Now let's go and do our next little bit. Done that. Okay, right. So interview with Andy now. Andy Sabisch, this is our premiere thing. I've been looking forward to this for a very, very long time. Andy's a really, really nice guy, very knowledgeable person as well. Author of books for a very long time indeed. This is the XP Deus Handbook. I'll be giving away a couple of these. So what I'd say now is just like last time, is if you could do your exclamation mark join. So exclamation mark join with no spaces. And that's to give away. I'm going to give away a couple of these to those that do it. If you've won something already, I will re-roll it because that's, you know, fairness and so on. And also, if you're Aggie's won everything I've given away in the past. So, Aggs, you sit this one out. I'm just kidding, guys. Interview with Andy Sabisch. This is 20 minutes. It was a massive, massive interview. There will be an extended cut. This is going to be one of the highlights of your year. I can promise you that. Go for it.
Half the other guys on the group thought she found a gold coin, and they're running across the field, and she holds out this bell, and they're going, "What is that?"
Thank you so much, Andy Sabisch, for joining us on the Dig Show. I really, really appreciate it. And we're going to get stuck into a few interesting topics today. I thought, as I said, we'd start quite simple. When you head out detecting these days, what kind of site gets you really excited? You've been to Africa, Asia. You were talking earlier in test about Ukraine and so on. What's the sort of places that really get you going these days?
One of the things that I think a lot of the newcomers need to kind of shift. It's a paradigm shift for them. It's what I find is not what it's worth, and a lot of people put value on everything that they find. To me, some of my most memorable or to me valuable finds, people look at and go, "What is this? This is not worth anything."
Mm-hmm.
And the history that you can assign to it. I mean, I'll give you an example. I mean, yesterday, we were out up here in upstate New York, and my brother digs this, and it's a slate miner's tag that was put on the carts, right?
Yeah.
So what is this worth? There's no value, but his area up here is known for slate mining, so to him that's a lot.
Oh,
The other
absolutely.
thing, I dug this little. Here's a little tag I dug. It's St. Patrick's Day tag. What's it worth? To me, it's unique because you're not going to find one of these in every schoolyard or park or field you go to. So to me, what the site holds, what the history is, and being able to tie that history to it. My wife is phenomenal when it comes to research. We found a wedding band one time, and she did some research on the markings inside, and it turns out the company went out of business in 1913. It made this ring.
Oh, wow.
And the reason it went out of business is because the owner died on the Titanic.
Right.
So little pieces of history like that. What's the ring worth at gold prices? Maybe a couple $100. To me, I'd never sell it because the story I can tie to that piece of history is priceless.
I totally agree with that. It's someone was saying to me the other day, and by the way, I've got some show and tell for you as well. This here is some cobalt blue infused glass. It's delaminated, so it's got this beautiful iridescent look to it. I love it. It's from a Roman site. I show a few people that, but I've also got colonial bits and pieces that I'm really interested in. Is it worth much? No. But when we measure success, we're not necessarily saying the monetary value. It's how it feels in here. It's how it makes you feel when you go out, because otherwise you're not going to be in the hobby for too long. And I understand you've been doing it for well over 50 years. Is that right?
64 is when I got into it. Christmas is 64. So I've been doing it for a number of years. Starting with when I was in the military, I mean, I've been coming over to Europe since the 70s, and I was, in the Navy. So came over, and most of the guys would go out and find a bar and get in trouble. I'd take a metal detector and find a beach or something. So I've been metal detecting in Europe and England, particularly since the 70s. Traveled there before, and, I've got my wife, she got into it, and we've traveled over there. We bring groups over as well. So, we've done a fair amount in England. We typically plan a few years in advance, and we were going to go to the Ukraine in 2022. We planned that out about 3 years earlier.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Ukraine is not where you want to go metal detecting for military relics, right? Well, you can probably find plenty of military relics now.
You've helped countless people get the most out of their machines. What are the most common mistakes that you see people make? Perhaps let's take it in two periods. Let's take it before the advent of multi-frequency technology and so on. You've got your single frequency 70, 80, 90s, and then you've got the modern, what we're looking at now, our current era. What's the most common mistake, Andy?
I would say the most common mistake that you see people make, and I'm gonna break it up instead of years and types of detectors, years as in social media. I think social media has created more problems than they've solved. When you see people watching these YouTube videos, and a lot of these YouTube videos are, made by someone with limited experience in a local area. And
Hmm.
what you use over in the UK is not what I would use here in upstate New York using the Deus 2, which is what I was swinging yesterday. So people watch these videos and say, well, now I know how to do it. And they download these programs that invariably create more problems than had they just left well enough alone and left it to factory presets.
I think the instant gratification of social media thinks that you've got to go straight for the hammered silver coin or you're going home, broke, the day is skunked. I find, I agree with you a lot about people relying on one program. In fact, you wrote about it, page 23 in the Deus manual. It says, navigate between programs. Like, when you've got a program, you switch it over to something else as an error check. Would you still agree with that?
The ability for XP to make 2 programs or 3 programs with slight variations where you can toggle between them, to me is unique, and that's what I love about the Deus. I've known Elaine since shortly after the company was founded, and that's his approach is clearly evident that he hunts with the machines. Unfortunately, a lot of the manufacturers, their engineers don't use the equipment. They can design a great detector, but they rely on feedback on what to do. Elaine and his team know what to do because they actually use their equipment. I'm still a firm believer in that. I got a friend of mine in Mississippi that we hunt with regularly, and that's what he'll do. He'll have 2 or 3 programs, and if he gets a marginal signal, he'll bounce between left or right one number and check to see what the response is, and factor everything from the audio response to the visual response to make a determination whether or not it's worth digging or not.
Let's talk tones for a second, Andy, if I may. They're so subjective. How do you personally dial in the tones or audio nuances depending on the machine type? So a bit of a free-for-all question there, what kind of sounds do you like to hear? Do you like the square tones, or do you like something that's a little bit like, chirpy? What do you like?
I typically go with square PWM. The multi-tones, for example, even with the Mind Labs, 1 tone per number. My ears are not that good. Maybe it's too many years in an engine room or something, but when people say, well, I can hear the difference between a clad dime and a silver dime, I'll use 5 tones and break it up according to what I'm looking for. So for relic hunting, I'll have the tone breaks differently than I will for coin hunting, but I typically will run a limited number of tones.
Yeah.
I can't listen to 100 different tones and try to differentiate between a 90 and a 92.
I think that works really well for depth as well. Like in brand independent as an answer, like if you've got like 2 or 3 tones only, then the computer, the microchip or whatever is kind of computing what the end sound is going to sound like, And of course, you're not looking at the numbers necessarily. So you're going, is it non-ferrous? Is it ferrous? Okay, I know it's a little bit yes or no, but it does sometimes help you with that, with making your day go a little bit easier. I think when people are stopped from doing something, that seems like it makes sense, to personal gain or historical narrative improving, I think it always pushes it underground, doesn't it? If you're stopping people.
It does.
Yeah.
I know that the term night hawking. I think that's something that you deal with over there. I don't know to what degree, but obviously that. I know I've talked to Nigel, for example, at Regton, and he said that they run that you guys are seeing more of this night hawking going on, where to hell with permission, I'm going to hunt this thing, and it may be at night. That all you need is 1 or 2 of those to offset 100 success stories where you've done things correctly.
I totally agree, and you know what? There's 2 sides of the coin. Okay, you've got, and mudlarking is mudlarking, which I love, and I've been doing it long before metal detecting. But in the context of American history, I understand, and I'm sure you'll chase me down if I'm wrong, that during the American Civil War, a lot of cartography, maps, written accounts of where particular objects, what farmsteads are, and advantageous crossing routes and so on, a lot of that was lost. So you've got people like Bo Aquachigger, who, and other people as well, of course, who are finding skirmish sites. And the only history we've got to know that that's the case is because you see a line of Menables or other types, and you can kind of piece together who was fighting who and possibly who even was winning, because you might find some of the muskets and smoothbores, thrown in the river. But you know what? Field walking teaches a lot as well. I won't delve too much on mudlarking and field walking, but I think when you have detectorists, just talking about social media, if you've got detectorists who are walking around and they're finding, shells or something like that, something that someone would have eaten out of for a while, some pottery or whatnot, and they're able to actually ID it, give an idea of its use, I think that's so invaluable. And I think that teaches a real lesson to people about, again, expectation.
Yep.
I want to talk tech now, if I may. So looking at technology from analog buzz boxes to modern multi-frequency machines, what's the biggest genuine game changer for the hobby? We've talked about multi-frequency. Can we still say that it's in its emergence?
Probably, you're reaching the apex. I mean, there may be a new technology that's going to give you something else. Several years ago, there was an article in one of the magazines. I used to write for Lost Treasure magazine before they went out of business.
Okay.
And there was an article, it was about a 5-page article about a new machine that was coming out. And it would show you what's in the ground. I mean, it had a picture, it was grainy, but it showed you, a diamond amongst nails and a gold ring and amongst pull tabs. And I'm reading this article, and I hadn't gotten to the end yet. Told my wife, I said, I don't care how much it costs, I'm buying this machine. And at the end, it was April Fool's Day. It was a joke. But it was a great article. And then I thought about it. I'm going, if I had a machine that showed me exactly what was in the ground, I could say, well, I don't want to dig a dime today. I'm looking for a quarter. Is that really a machine? Would that take away some of the skill, some of the excitement when you go out there and you never know what you're going to find when you dig that clump of dirt over?
Maybe we as people are not able to take any more information in. We're talking about evolution of detectors. Maybe we're at a point where we don't want to go any further.
I think you're right. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of people, if they buy a new machine, they're forced to sell their old machine to buy the new machine, and I understand that. But what I do when a new machine comes out, or I'm asked to test a machine, people probably avoid me when I'm out in the field, in the park or school or whatever, because I'll have 4 machines with me. I'm dragging 4 different detectors with me. I'm marking targets, and I'm trying to see, did this machine do something different, or is it just I happened to swing the coil over that, whereas the other one I didn't? Because people say I went to a worked out 20-acre park and I found 3 silver dimes. Well, first of all, there's no such thing as a worked out 20-acre park. So did you check it with another machine? Would the other machine have found that same target? And I think what you're finding is a lot of people are buying a machine and going out and getting excited because they found something the other machine didn't. But why? Was it not set correctly? Was it the coil didn't go over it? And my backyard, my house is built in the 1880s. It was a site of an original blacksmith shop. So the backyard is just littered with iron. And I'm still pulling stuff out of that yard, after hunting that thing almost every day. I go out there, and my wife calls it my therapy session. I go out to get one good target, and then I come back in. Sometimes I'm out for 5 minutes. Sometimes I'm out there for an hour, but I'm going to force myself to find something in the iron.
I'll tell you what, I bet when you come back with a button, you look like you're a peach,
Yep, I got something.
A good way to bookend it is to say that, okay, machines, we've come quite far, maybe as far as we need. Now it's about how can you interpret the sound coming out. It's the hearing now. My ears aren't going to change. Yours definitely aren't going to change. And that's going to be is headphones and things like that. I want to finish up now on a little bit about books. So when you write your books, do you decide what technical details need to be included and what to simplify? What's your process for translating like what is effectively quite complex metal detectors into something that I can read?
the key difference on my books is I try to get in touch with people that I know were either involved in the testing or heavy users of the machine, not just social media users, and ask them, what's important to you in your area for your type of hunting. Well, if I see the same question repeated multiple times in multiple forums, that's obviously something that I need to address in the book. So, my new books have all got a, common question set chapter.
One final thing as well. We know that there's a Manticore book just come out. Great. Andy, what's next in it for you? And is there a Deus 2 book on the horizon at some point?
The Deus 2 book actually was going to come out before the Manticore book, but the upgrades, I did it with Nocta with the Legend. They said that they were done with updates, and I put the book out a month later. The update started again. So it makes the book then somewhat obsolete. And people say, well, you can put an update or a supplement out. I really don't want to do that. So the Deus 2 book was 99% done, and then version 3 came out.
Yeah, got it.
So,
Understood.
And again, I can't take a beta version and write a book about a beta version. So until, now it's locked in and the coils are still in limited supply, I need to make sure that that is locked down and we're pretty much done at least for a year before I put that book out. But it's pretty much done without the version 3 update.
I love that. Thank you so much for that. I know it was something I didn't want to touch on too much, but guys, you saw it. We're 99-ish% there. We don't want to be doing anything beta. Let's give it some time. Andy Sabisch, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really, really appreciated that. We've learned a lot about not just like detecting philosophy. We've learned a little bit about bits that go into your book and or books rather, should I say. So I want to say thanks once again. It's a real pleasure having you. Your perspective bridges that technical and the human side of detecting quite perfectly. Yes, loved it. Thank you so much for that, Andy. Really appreciated your time there. Andy Sabisch, everyone. There's our chap. Great interview, says Muzzy. Good job. Yeah, thank you very much for that, Muzzy. If you guys enjoying what you watch, please do drop a comment in there. It does help me understand where we're at and where I need to be at. While we were doing that interview, actually, I asked a little bit about asked you guys what you thought about night hawking, and we've got loads of responses here. It's actually, we'll focus on it, I think, in January, because December I want to be all about cool finds. Okay, the interview that I'm doing, I've been planning for a long time, and I can't wait also to get Brad from Green Mountain Metal Detecting on. But maybe we could do that just after Christmas. It'd be nice to maybe have someone from Britain, interview them about some of the Roman and Celtic and Saxon whatever finds, and what that tells us about history and what we can do to further people academically, and curiosities as well from the ground up. Anyway, thank you very much, Andy. Really enjoyed that. Doug reminded me within about a minute of me asking, all of over an hour ago, I'm going to give away a couple of these books. So, in fact, have we got a thing for so? Let's roll for that. Just a sec. Still getting used to this. I've had a year to do it. So this is our year anniversary, actually, on this group. In this format, this particular thing. I used to just do a quick roll of the dice, and that was that. But how far we have come. All right, stopping the entry, selecting a winner. Ernie Holding. Ernie, have we done you already? I'm going to do another one as well. So that's one book for Ernie. And Jim Jewell. Hey, that's amazing. I love that. Great. We've got a few other people walking in off the streets as well. Yeah, Ernie, did you win something already? I'm going to re-roll otherwise. Very knowledgeable guy. Your interviewing style made it very easy for him. Excellent insights from a legend. Yeah. I really enjoyed what Andy has to say. And there is an extended cut where we talk a little bit more about some storytelling as well. It's something that Andy's pretty good at, something I'm pretty good at as well, I think. Ernie got a sticker, but he'd like a book. Of course you can have a book then. I thought he'd want a hat or something. In fact, by the way, I'm going to get in loads of trouble for doing this, but because I'm on my own and everyone else is watching fireworks, we're going to go select a winner, Bobby Baker, and let's see what Bobby has won on this one. Better still be here, Bobby. Here we are. Not that one. This one. Right, Bobby. You're up. Ready, everyone? Okay, Bobby. Go. NCMD scale card. Very good, Bobby. And he's scooping all the prizes, says Nilo. Yeah. Well, guys, I think that's about it. No one won the hat. Oh well. Hope you guys enjoyed the show today. The Silversmith thing was just amazing, wasn't it? I really enjoyed that. Tim Chipkin is a very clever bunny, and I've got a couple of fibulas. I think we'll send. We'll make sure we get the export licensing for and give them to him, and he can have a go with that. Guys, hope you enjoyed the show. I think I'm going to sign off there. I really enjoyed it. Sorry it's a little bit longer. Now, you will notice, of course, there's two massive bits missing. We've got an interview with Stephen Andrews, which is about Napoleonic fleet and the sort of things that you'd find on the beach from that. He's done some really interesting work with age of sail ships and recovering some pieces from them. We didn't get round to that. We also have a Remembrance Sunday coming up, and we have Joe, who from America, who came over. We did an interview live in the field when he found a World War I medal. I've chosen not to do that tonight. I've sent a message to both of those guys before we even started saying, I don't think I'm going to fit this in today, and we will get onto it. Ernie says, I got a hat once, but I'm loving the towel now, so we'll keep trying. Okay, yeah. Well done, everyone. Hope you have a great evening. I love that. Don't forget, when you finish this, go to the page and click follow, because if you follow, there's loads more stuff that you'll see that no one else can see, and that's the name of the game for the Dig Show going forward. Thank you, everyone. It's been really, really enjoyable. I'm going to sign out there.